Hi, this is Matt Breckwald, your personal safety coach, and I want to talk to you today about a method for protecting elders that you care about or elders that you are charged with caring for. So many of us are going to encounter situations at some point in the future where we are charged with caring for a loved one who's aging. How can we do that safely, and how can we ensure they're safe, especially for those of us with limited budgets and limited abilities to make sure that the people that we are hiring to take care of them are not a threat to their safety or their well-being. Now, many people find themselves in this position at some point where they need to hire a caretaker that can help take care of a parent or an aging grandparent or an aunt, or you name it. People find themselves in this position. Why should we prepare now for this? Well, when the situation hits you all of a sudden, and I know this from personal experience, you are not ready to deal with it. You've got a lot of emotional baggage going on with it, and you might not make the best decisions. So prepare ahead of time and make the transition as smooth and as safe as possible for the people that you care about. So something that I've seen throughout my career and something that's upset me is elder abuse, whether that be financial, physical, neglectful, or otherwise. And I thought, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to put something out there that can help people with this issue, to help people overcome some of the hurdles in making sure that their loved ones are safe when they need to care for them. Also, just beyond my career and the anecdotal evidence that I put forth, if you look, just do a quick study of articles nationwide. I mean, you can type in elder abuse in Google Reader or get Google alerts on elder abuse. There are tons of articles and stories out there. This is happening all too often. And the reason is because when people need help in their later years, they are vulnerable, and vulnerable people are too easy to take advantage of. So I believe that people, you and me, people without huge budgets and the ability to hire firms to take care of background investigations for us, have the ability to avoid hiring these type of people, and the ability to figure this out on our own to conduct a background investigation or check that is going to be sufficient to protect our loved ones on our own. And then sometimes these checks that we do ourselves are going to be better than what you can get from hiring somebody to do it for you. The basis of this video is that you have to do a background check. You don't have a choice. If you're going to bring somebody into your home long term, even short term for that matter, but especially long term, to care for a vulnerable person, whether that be your children or an aging loved one, you have to do a background check. There's no way around it. The problem, of course, is that not everybody has the skills to do this, and certainly not everybody has the money to go out and hire a firm to do a background investigation for them. Well, I want to tell you in this video why you can do it yourself, and why you doing it yourself may even be better in certain circumstances than hiring somebody to go do it for you. Am I advocating against hiring a firm? No, I'm not, but not all of us can. So what it boils down to a lot of times, what people can't afford to hire a firm, is they just forego the background check. I'm against this strategy, and I'm against this strategy because it leaves the welfare of your loved one up to just good luck or chance. And that's not good enough, especially in hindsight, when you're the one that's going to have to live with the fact that something bad happened, if that should ever occur. And hopefully it doesn't under any circumstances. So I want to take a luck out of the equation. I want to show you how to do your own background investigation and show you how to do it for free. Not just show you for free, but show you how you can conduct it with no expense incurred by yourself. All you're going to need, the three basic things you're going to need to be able to do this, is the ability to communicate, that's number one, a telephone, number two, and a modicum of ability to use the internet to do some searches. Now, I'm not going to be sending you to a lot of sites where you have to pay a fee to join up on the site and to be eligible to get information. I'm going to be giving you some hints and some tips to go out for free on the internet and find information that you're looking for. Now, if you want to pay to join these sites, I think that enhances your background investigation all that much more, and go do it. But this is all targeted at people who can't afford a lot of expense in this process. The benefit to doing what I'm going to tell you about is that you can uncover what a fingerprint record search or a social security search cannot. For example, the person or the candidate that you might be checking, they may have a clean criminal history. Maybe they've never been caught. Maybe something they've done, they received a withheld judgment for, which means that if they complete a probationary period successful, the judge will take it off of their record. Or maybe they received a plea deal. Maybe they, were charged with battery on an elder, but they took a plea deal of disorderly conduct. And then when you ask them, what is this disorderly conduct, they can tell you whatever they want to tell you. I was 19 years old and I was peeing in an alley behind a bar. So this way you might be able to detect some of those things that are undetectable through that type of search. So let's talk about the interview for just a moment. So why are you doing an interview is number one. If the reason you're doing an interview is because you read somewhere that you need to do an interview, but you don't have a purpose in doing this interview, then you might as well skip it. An interview without purpose and direction is an interview. It's just a waste of time. What you need to do is have a specific purpose with that interview. And your purpose is, are we going to rule this person in or out as a candidate to care for my loved one? Now, the answer to this is that you're going to do this interview that's going to be very specific and purposeful, and you're going to be looking for red flags. You're going to be looking for things that will be an indication to you that we need to move on to the next candidate. We don't want to allow somebody into our home, into sensitive areas, or around our loved ones that gives us some feeling of consternation about the subject or about them being in the home. The first thing about communication and interviewing is that you have to learn to ask the questions that you want the answers to. Forget about political correctness. What is it that you really want to know? Now think about that for a second. What do you want to know when you're considering whether or not to hire somebody to come into your home? You're not looking for a smoking gun here, but you're looking for signs or signals that demonstrate to you that you need to pass on this person. Again, you're looking for red flags. So how do you identify these signs, these signals? I mean, what do you do to figure out whether or not this person is causing you that type of apprehension about having them in the home? Well, there's really nothing you do other than looking into it. I mean, you're not a police officer. You are not looking for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You only need to make sure that the person does not give you any cues that make you uneasy with them. That's it. I mean, if you were a police officer investigating this person, you would need a large amount of evidence to show that this person was unfit to be in your home or to care for your loved one. But in this case, you're just making a hiring decision, and you're certainly not obligated to hire anybody that makes you uncomfortable. So you must learn to trust your intuition, and that's that gut feeling that I was talking about a second ago, where you're getting those cues or those red flags. And how do you identify these red flags? Well, it's all through your intuition. Well, how do you get in touch with your intuition? The trick here is that we have stepped away from it as a society. We don't trust our intuition anymore, or we will overrule our intuition. I suggest reading the book called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. This is a very good first step for everybody to get back in touch with their gut feeling, with their intuition, and learn to trust them. Remember, we're talking about asking the questions that you want answers to. So if you want to know if this person has ever abused an elder, you have to ask the question, have you ever abused an elder? If you want to know if this person has ever stolen from somebody who is vulnerable, you have to ask them, have you ever stolen from another person? Ask those questions. Don't be apprehensive to ask those questions because they might be offensive to the other person. The beauty of this is that most candidates who would be willing to deceive you will react in some way surprised to these bold and direct questions. For example, they may be prepared to lie to you, and they may be prepared for the standard interview questions. Did you have any problems at your previous employer? Why did you leave? Why did they let you go? That type of thing. They might not be prepared for, have you ever stolen? So when you ask them that direct question, they may stammer, they may stutter, they may pause and say or huh, or they may repeat the question to you. Those are cues to you that they are buying time to figure out what to say to you or how to lie to you. So you've got to be more concerned with the way that they're answering than with what exactly they're saying, because what they're saying to you might be a lie. And after all, you're not a lie detector. Now, when you're asking these direct questions, these people, do they change their posture? Do all of a sudden they cross their arms? Do they recoil away from you? When they're talking, do they touch their mouth? Do they do something like that that is a significant difference from everything else they were doing when you asked them simple and mundane questions like, where did you grow up? Do they repeat the question to you? Or do they ask you for clarification? An example. What exactly do you mean by stealing? I think we've got our answer here, right? Isn't that a red flag? What do you mean by stealing? Why do you need clarification on this? The honest person, even if they are offended, can tell you, no, I haven't stolen from an employer in the past. I'm a professional. Next, get references from your candidates and call every reference and contact every reference. When you interview these references, ask them the same type of direct questions and don't worry about political correctness. Ask them directly and look for cues from them that they're stammering, stuttering, buying time, repeating questions. They may be prepared to lie for a friend, but they probably are not going to be prepared for that type of direct question. So you're going to be looking for the same cues. And ask those references for other references. Who else should I call to find out about Joe? And then call all those references. Chances are those people are certainly not prepared or prepped by your candidate. Now use the internet. In Idaho, where I live, you can check the Idaho Judicial Repository to see what, if anything, every person in the state has ever been charged with in the state of Idaho. This is completely free. Go to your local county courthouse and check local criminal records. What have they been charged with locally? Start looking into these things and find out which the free resources are that are available to you in your county, in your city, and in your state. Now, next step. Where else do we look on the internet? Well, how about Google? Go to Google, put their name in, and put it in several different ways. For example, my name is Matt Breckwald. Put me in as Matt Breckwald. Put me in as Breckwald Matt. Put me in quotes as Matt Breckwald asterisk Boise. Or if you're going to hire me in Santa Monica, California, asterisk Santa Monica. What has been in the news about me in this location? When using Google, you don't need to use a comma. When, an example, you use Breckwald Matt, just use a space. That's the same thing as a comma in Google. Public records often put in last name first, so put last name first in when you do this search on Google. Next, look at their Facebook profile. Well, how do you do that? Well, ask them in writing with their signature for their username and their password. They won't give it to you? Well, they've got the right not to give it to you, but you have the right to not hire them. So pull that username and password and look at their profile. If you don't know what Facebook is or you don't know how to use it, I guarantee that you have somebody in your life who knows how to use it. I think the largest growing age category of Facebook users out there are between the ages of 40 and 65, in that range somewhere. There's somebody you know that knows how to use it. Get on Facebook, look at their photos, look at the things they've said, and find out about these people. Now, I want you to remember that all these things and all these tips I've given you are a start. They are something that you can do without the funds to hire a firm to do this. If you can afford to hire a fund to do some of these things for you, then absolutely do it. But the firm is most likely not going to conduct your interview for you, or if they do, it's going to be expensive. You're going to be conducting the interview. So pay attention to those cues in the interview and ask the questions that you want the answers to. Do your background checks, protect your loved ones, and please, let's help start reducing the amount of exploitation and abuse that goes on with vulnerable elder adults in our society. Hey, this is Matt Breckwald, your personal safety coach. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this helps you to protect elders, the people that you care about, and I hope that this gives you peace of mind when you do hire someone and you bring them into your home or your loved one's home to take care of them. Contact me anytime, absolutely free. I'm at askmatt@yourpersonalsafetycoach.com. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, or you can just go to my website at www.yourpersonalsafetycoach.com. Thanks again, and be safe.